Hey guys, welcome back to Kingdom Kids with Yazzie Speaks, or you might be tuning in from my Yazzie Speaks Volume 2 YouTube channel or Instagram, wherever you land on this video. My name is Yasmin Yazzie Speaks Arrington, and I have a calling on my life to encourage, educate, enlighten, inspire, and empower lost souls and God's people. We're all made in the image of the Creator, but lost souls and God's children, chosen ones, those of us who are outcasts in society, but we have a great purpose on our lives. I want to just share some things with you. Some of this you may have already discovered. Some of you have realized it. And some of you may be wondering what in the world is going on. Rejection and criticism come with the territory. Rejection and criticism come with the territory. For some of us, since we were very young, we've had like odd, strange things happen to us. I'll explain that in a minute. Or we've always felt like we never fit in to any particular group of people. We might have tried to fit in and maybe it worked for a little bit, but then it didn't, or that group, whatever the social group, sort of faded away. Some of them may still be friends or whatever to this day, and you're off on an island by yourself. Some of us were rejected by our parents. That could be in a number of ways, right? It could be abandonment, which in a number of ways. It could be where you might have grown up with narcissistic parents who you basically were supplied to them and there wasn't really any real love there. And you were you felt like a prop, or you felt like an extra in your parents' movie or your caregiver's movie. Some of us were raised by aunts and uncles, grandparents, people who stood in the gap and were willing to take on the responsibility of raising us. Some parents had given up on us. Some of us may be adopted. The list goes on. It may not be your parents. Maybe you were chastised by teachers in school, or certain teachers just had it out for you. And you couldn't quite understand why. Why do they treat these students or this group better than they treat this group of students, or better than me? Why am I always picked on? Why am I always called out? Some of us, oftentimes, if we're in the workplace, we are often chastised, reprimanded by our bosses, by supervisors, by colleagues, even coworkers, people we work with. That has been the story of my life. Now, it's not to say that God won't put people in place who support us, who are kind to us, right? Destiny helpers, so to speak. But that does not negate the fact that there will be someone somewhere, as it relates to any kind of job or workplace or work setting, that just seem to have it out for you. For some of us, when we're going about our day, going wherever you're going, you may go to the post office, you may, for women, you may go to the hair salon, you may go get your makeup done, wherever you're going, right? You may have to file something, go to an office, you may have to go somewhere in person to pay for something, you may just go get something to eat from Panda Express, Tropical Cafe, Meza, wherever, right? Chances are throughout your day, and it may not happen every day, but there will be folks who kind of come out at you a little strangely, or yell at you, or very short with you, And you see that they do that with you, but they may not do that with others, or you're kind of wondering, like, what in the world? Like, what is this about? As the saying goes, and it is true, the light within us, the Holy Spirit that we carry in us, the light within us, um, what's the word? It it agitates their demons. Um, we all wrestle with something. Even those of us who are born again believers, even those of us, and I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I'm perfect, that any of us are, because we're not. All of us fall short of the glory of God each and every single day. But I mean to say that the light that we carry, the Jesus light, right? If you are walking and roaming in a dark world, in a world that most people are just walking around blindly and they're just doing everything that most folks do in the matrix, then when they come across someone like you, whether they realize it or not, your light, your booyah, it agitates their demons. And so sometimes, and I didn't quite understand, it took me a very long time to understand this until I had my spiritual awakening. Sometimes people's demons will manifest in front of you and lash out at you. This may sound crazy, but again, for those of you who are awake, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who you know, you're like at the early stages or haven't quite gotten there yet, you're still trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, and let me add on top of that, betrayal and people switching up on you also comes with the territory. It is guaranteed to happen. And I believe it's safe to say that that happens both in the matrix and for those of us who are awakened, for those of us who are born again, right? Who are renewed and reformed, right? Yeah, like you will have folks at different points and times in your life that will start out with you or be with you in one season. They will help you on a particular thing, or you may not have the money for something, you know, and that person is willing to work with you. But then you notice that as your life progresses and you're no longer where you were, you might still be struggling, but you're not where you were, that people start to switch up on you. Or people who smile in your face and say things like, I'm your biggest fan. I'm your number one fan. You know, I just love you so much. I adore you so much. Now, that's not to say some people who say that are genuine, right? But there are folks who say that who aren't genuine about it. And what you will find is we are often empaths, which means we're extremely empathetic and we have big hearts. We have very big hearts and we love to love people. We just love to love on people. We love we want people to feel happy. We want people to feel loved, right? And so we tend to attract narcissists. Narcissists are people who are very self-centered. They're typically all about themselves. No matter how you slice it, they're all about themselves. And typically when they approach people, the thoughts that go in their mind, go through their mind, whether it's conscious or subconscious or both, is ultimately, okay, who is this person? What do they do? What do they have? Who are they? Right? Who are they in society? And what can I extract from them? What, you know, will it benefit me in one way or another to develop some type of rapport, some type of relationship? And when I say relationship, that could be a number of things. It could be romantic, it could be platonic, it could be whatever, you know, societal, colleagues, this type of thing. A lot, you know, narcissists will usually attach to people who will give them supply. And unfortunately, for us empaths who are unaware, or are still sort of asleep or don't really understand, how these things work spiritually. Now we're in a physical body, but we are spirits, right? And we are souls. Um, and so when you look at it from that perspective, that's what's happening. That is what's happening. And for those of us empaths who have been through a lot of trauma, if we've been through abandonment, if we've been through any type of abuse, psychological, mental, emotional, or if we're lacking in confidence, things like this, then we become easy targets. We become codependent, um, and the narcissist has a cycle. It's very much like um, an abusive romantic relationship, or like a domestic abuse type of situation where the abuser will do things in cycles. So they will start with what they call love bombing. And they will just shower you with compliments and with gifts. And oh my goodness, it feels so bubbly. It feels so good. And then once they've entrapped you, the mask begins to slip, and they begin to do different things that don't seem like the character of the person that you met, right? That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But I say all this to say, once again, criticism, rejection, betrayals, and switch ups, they come with the territory. And so it's our job, once we begin to wake up, we must do some what they call inner work, and revisit maybe some things from our childhood and our adolescence and our young adult years, even, that we may not want to revisit. It may require us to get some therapy. It will require us to journal. It will require us to pray, right? It'll require us to do all of these different things. It may require us to have a season of isolation so that we can begin to silence out the noise, build up our personal relationship with our Creator, with Abba Father, with God, however you want to refer. God has so many names, right? So many mysteries. So I want you to be encouraged. Be encouraged on today. I know that it's difficult because empaths, we're the kind of people that we want to take people with us. For people, we care. We genuinely care about the people in our lives. It doesn't matter whether it's a family member, a brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, son, daughter, a makeup artist, hairstylist. Oh my goodness, you name it. Babysitter, chef, fitness coach, therapist, whatever the case may be. And I know therapist is an exception because they have to keep solid boundaries between their clients. But anyway, you get my point. We like to bring people along with us, but the sad truth and the reality of the matter is we can't take everybody with us into every season. We can't take everybody with us into every season. And God heard conversations that people had that you did not hear. There were lots of people who smiled in your face, but they were talking about you like the scum underneath their shoe to other people. There were some that were spreading your business. There were some that were praying for your downfall, that were just waiting for you to fail. There were some that were plotting and scheming to sabotage your efforts or to keep you out of getting into your next season, out of blessings, out of increase, out of promotion. These things are real. And us empaths, we always want to see the good in people. We never want to think or believe that there are folks out there that have this kind of negative, evil mindset. But the scripture says, and I'm going to pull it up really quickly, and I think I'm going to end with this for now. Ephesians 6:12. Very, very well-known scripture, but it is extremely relevant. For we wrestle not, this is the King James Version. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So, you know, we wrestle not against the humanness, the human form, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's a lot. So at the end of the day, one of the things that we must understand is that this is a spiritual experience. It is a spiritual battle. And so once you can see beyond that, my friends, is where the real work begins. That is where the real work begins. And so I encourage you that when you are going through these things, when you're going through betrayals, when you're seeing people switch up on you, even your siblings or people that you would never think, and a lot of times we'll try to second guess, or we'll try to make excuses for people's behavior. Like, no, they're just going through something. This is really not like them. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Do not keep stringing these kind of people along or along with you. Sometimes you have to create distance. And so the best thing to do is to always pray for revelation. You guys, before my awakening, God, I believe, dropped this prayer in my spirit, in my heart. And the prayer was and is, Lord, please remove the blinders off of my physical and my spiritual eyes. And ever since I've prayed that prayer, I'm emotional because it really has freed me. I thought I was awake. I really thought I was awake, but I'm on a totally different level now. And I want some of you all to be able to experience it. This is a lonely walk. You will begin to see things that you have never seen before. You will see the world differently. You will never be the same again. Especially if you decide to answer the calling on your life, to address that like yearning. It's I don't know how to explain it. I think that we all have passions, we all have skills, right? We all have talents, and we also have spiritual gifts. Now, some people choose to use them for good, for righteousness' sake, and for good, and for God's kingdom. And when I say God's kingdom, I am talking about the creator, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That is who I'm referring to. Because what I'm realizing in this matrix, that people just toss around the name God. But if we're being real, there are lots of God's small g, right? There are lots of, deities and gods and all little g, that people recognize, and people, whatever, make sacrifices to, pray to, honor, and all that. So I have to be specific. Yeah, I just want you to be encouraged, because it can get very discouraging. It can get very lonely. And I mean, I was in this kind of cycle for a long time. I was in cycles of constant sabotage, of people switching up on me and not being consistent, not answering my text messages, and all these kinds of things. And I could not figure it out. I'm like, is it me? And I mean, it is you to an extent, not to say that you're the one to blame, but it is you because, again, your light agitates their demons. It's going to happen. It's no doubt about that. So I want you to be prepared and be we just have to fast and pray and watch and pray. And also, I thank God for YouTube. I thank God for content creators, for people who are walking in their purpose, who are not afraid and willing to take the time out to record videos, to share about their experiences, and to encourage us. And so I'm just continuing to pay it forward, and hopefully my experiences and what I have to share, hopefully it will encourage you, it will bless you. If you have questions for me, I encourage you to email me. My email I will put below in the description of the video, yazzyspeaks@gmail.com. If you would like to make a contribution, I have to get all of the platforms, like Cash App, PayPal, all that. I have to get those specifically for Kingdom Kids. But at this time, you are more than welcome to, sow a seed into the ministry that God has called me to, that I'm stepping into, into this message or others. That information is also below. If you have questions, prayer, if you want a prayer, if you want a one-on-one session, just don't be afraid to hit me up. God bless you. I love you. Be encouraged. All right, y'all. Till next time, peace.